Oh boy. What's up guys, welcome to Superwise. I'm John, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It is a game that exists that has a lot of controversy, man. It's been a war zone, to say the least. Now, I didn't really have any massive hype for this game. When that first DC fandom trailer dropped, I was excited, but then as more stuff came out, I lost interest. It just didn't look and feel like the Arkhamverse continuation that I wanted. Then Warner Brothers Games sent me an early playtest code, and I was like, alright, let's just try this out, let's see how I feel, and it won me over. It went from me not wanting to buy the game to me pre-ordering it. After the playtest, this game was hit with mad controversy and mad outrage, and I was like, oh boy. I saw and heard some things, but at the end of the day, I was like, let me form my own opinion, okay? I'm gonna try it out for myself. I'm gonna give it a fair shot, unlike some of these people that are just hating it to hate, you know? Because I've seen it with my own two eyes. If you actually like this game or like certain decisions, then you're not an Arkham Batman fan. Then you're a shill, then you're this, then you're that. And I'm like, this is getting childish, dude. Like, what are we doing here? If you like it, good. If you don't like it, that's fine and understandable as well. So anyway, I played the game, and overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. That doesn't mean that I love the game. That doesn't mean that I think the game is great. That doesn't mean that I defend the decisions the game made. There are a lot of problems with the game, both gameplay and story-wise, so it's not great. I thought it was fine. I think it's perfectly serviceable. It doesn't do anything revolutionary, groundbreaking, which is definitely disappointing, but I don't think it's a bad game by any means. Now, let's get into it, because if I was not playing this game with friends, I definitely would not have as much as a good time as I had. That's definitely a fundamental flaw, because you're supposed to engineer this as you can have fun with friends, but you can also have fun by yourself, and I couldn't say that for me. You remove that aspect, a large part of the game just falls apart, and that experience falls apart. Let's talk gameplay, because Captain Boomerang is my main. I did not dare touch any of the other members. Captain Boomerang just is my guy. His traversal is fun, the traversal attacks are dope, the guns you get to use have some kick to them. But yeah, at times it did feel repetitive, and I found myself wanting to take breaks because I just can't sit there for hours and hours on end just doing the same old thing. I'm very much a story guy too, and when I wanted to continue the main story at a certain part in this game, it would not let me. Luther was like, I'll call you when I'm ready. I didn't like that. It didn't give you a choice. It forced you to do a couple of these side missions, and as a result, you can get more fatigued from it because you're forced to do it. You got no choice. Also, there's so much going on your screen at once. It could get like overwhelming because you just see a bunch of these things, a bunch of lasers, lights, blasts, this, that, and the other, and it's like so much to process. It doesn't give you a moment to just like stop and think, and like what I'm basically saying is that it's sensory overload. It's so much. So on that front, gameplay can be fun. It's really fun to shoot your gun, do these combos, traversal attacks, all that good stuff, but it can be a lot. So that's the gameplay. Now let's go on to the most controversial aspect of this game, and that is the story. Up front, I'm just gonna say that I wanted a Justice League game, or I wanted a Superman game, for real, dog. When we were walking through Metropolis, when we were walking through the Daily Planet, and I saw these Easter eggs and stuff like that, I was just thinking to myself, man, why is this not a Superman game? That's the real game I wanted to play. So that was like in the back of my mind, kind of bothering me. Like, listen, I like the Suicide Squad. I think they have a fun banter and dynamic. I like these characters, but it's not the direction of the Arkhamverse I would have chosen. The Suicide Squad is just not the logical next step in the chapter of this Arkhamverse story, simply. I had this fear, I had this suspicion when I played the playtest. It was just backed up here, where there is so much dialogue and heavy exposition where it just doesn't feel natural. You're walking through the Hall of Justice and you get these, you know, ramblings about what they've been up to since Arkham Knight. You go through the museum and you see Batman and Superman shaking hands, and I want to see that. It can be cool world building, but at the end of the day, I wanted to see and play through that. That is the natural next step. I don't want to be told that. I want to witness that. I want to experience that. And this problem just goes further when you kill the Justice League and there is no emotional weight. You think we are supposed to care about these characters just because we love them from the comics and the movies and the shows and all that? No, you have to flesh out these characters established in your world. And they don't do that. There's no character development, no real arcs with the Justice League or even the Suicide Squad. Again, it's exposition. You hear about Deadshot's daughter. You hear about, parents with King Shark, but we never see it or fully believe it. It's never explored outside a couple of lines of dialogue, and that's a real issue. You rush all of these Justice League characters into this universe, and when we kill them, what are we supposed to feel here? We kill them and they flop around like a bunch of NPCs. Like that's just it. These should be dramatic and epic deaths, but they're not. They just sort of happen and that's it. There's nothing real to it. It feels just like majority shock factor. That's definitely what Batman's death was. Now, Batman's death I'm not overly mad at. First out the gate, I see people weaponizing Kevin Conroy's death. Don't do that, okay? Y'all know he enjoyed making this game, and y'all know that he did not think that this would be his last performance. Even though we did hear that this is not his last performance, like he has a role in Crisis Part 3, so we'll see. But regardless, the point stands. No one was prepared for this. We're all guilty of thinking that we're all gonna be here tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow, as they say. We never know. And so Rocksteady had that belief where, it's fine, because later down the line, we're gonna bring him back. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then shit hit the fan, and this is what we have. This is just the reality here. So it's unfortunate, terrible timing, and I don't blame anyone for it, but I will say that Batman's death here should not have been the way he went out. Batman in this game should have been Wonder Woman's role. He should have been the sole survivor. He should have been the one behind the scenes trying to figure out how to break free the Justice League of this thing. He's the strategist. That is his role, and playing into that would have been perfect. And if he would have died at Superman's hands the way Wonder Woman did, that is a heroic, noble way to go. That should have been the way it went. I waited to do this review so I could just sit down and think about how to improve this game. This would have been it. This is infinitely more respectful. The tribute at the end would have hit harder within the context. Rocksteady was just not thinking. Period, end of story. This is the franchise that y'all started. Batman is the reason why you guys are top tier, at least used to be top tier, because it's ruined. They've ruined their identity, their perception. It's ruined. And let's say the leaks are true, the rumors are true, that the Justice League that we killed in this game are not the real Justice League. It will not matter. The damage is done. The main story is what people saw, and that's all they care about. There is no coming back from this. There's no backtracking. There's none of that. What happened has happened, and it is permanently ingrained into the Rocksteady name. Now let's talk about the ending, because I also have an issue with the ending. Brainiac, who's by the way perfectly voiced by Jason Isaacs, perfect casting. We fight him, it's a Flash reskin boss battle, which I wouldn't have gone with, but regardless, we kill him, and the story just ends with Amanda Waller saying, oh, you got, what was it, 11 or 12 other Brainiacs to kill? Like I was saying, the story is a massive issue because there's no beginning, middle, and end. The story doesn't end. There are no arcs that are completed. This doesn't feel like a conclusion of a story. This feels like, hey, play our post-launch content, stick around. So I didn't like that. It felt very anticlimactic, and it didn't feel conclusive. It didn't feel satisfying. It didn't feel like a satisfying wrap-up. It just felt like, oh, stick around. So wow, I went on longer than I thought I would for this video, but yeah, as you can tell, the story is kind of my main issue with the game. It just lacks in-depth character moments, good exploration outside of the heavy exposition. It lacks good payoff. It lacks these crucial things that you need, man. And again, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the game, I have fun with it, but it is a mediocre game that just does not live up to what we want the next continuation of the Arkhamverse to be. I am dying for a Batman Beyond game. I am dying for a Superman game, a Flash game, a Green Lantern game, all these things that we could have had, but here's Suicide Squad synergy. And yeah, this is the last thing I have to say. The Suicide Squad synergy is getting annoying, bruh. It's getting really annoying. First it was Batman oversaturation, now it's Suicide Squad oversaturation. I like these characters, I like the lineup, I like this, that, and the other, but it's time to move on, bro. The old regime had this hard-on for the Suicide Squad, and I'm like, y'all, this is not your priority. You need to focus on A, B, C listers. Enough with the Suicide Squad. I am so happy that that James Gunn and his DCU slate is, you know, real heavy hitters and some obscure but still fan favorite characters. We need that. Enough with the Suicide Squad. Stop it. We want the A-listers, we want heavy hitters, we want to expand the DC lore outside of this one group. Please stop, please, and thank you. Wow, I did not think I'd be criticizing this game that hard, but it was important for me to be different from everyone else. Stop and sit down and think about what I'm going to say before I say it. Really just think about this game. I enjoy it, I have fun with it, it's serviceable, but I have criticisms that just need to be addressed and acknowledged. We'll see about this post-launch content, and we'll see how the Arkhamverse expands, but man, y'all need to make a Superman game, a Batman Beyond game. Y'all need to do something, go back to the original formula, win people over, cause you gotta do that, man. While I didn't hate your game, a lot of people do, and you gotta win that good faith back, because it's pretty bad out there. So I hand it off to you. What do you think about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Is the hate justified? Are you like me, where it's like, it's not all bad, but I do have my criticisms of it? Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That'll be all for me. Remember my catchphrase, guys. Stay super wise.